Hello and welcome to Let's Play Island of the Lizard King by Ian Livingstone. This book is number 7 in the Fighting Fantasy Gamebook series. I'll just read the synopsis. Can you save the young men of Oyster Bay from the evil lizard men? Kidnapped by a vicious race of lizard men from Fire Island, the young men of Oyster Bay face a grim future of slavery, starvation, and a lingering death. Their master will be the mad and dangerous Lizard King who holds sway over his land of mutants by the strange powers of black magic and voodoo. Will you risk all in an attempt to save the prisoners? 2 dice, a pencil, and an eraser are all you need for this adventure. You decide which route to follow, which dangers to risk, and which monsters to fight. Okay, this is the front cover. There's a picture of Ian Livingstone, the author. For some reason in this PDF I got of this book, there's some pages missing at the start. It should tell us how to work out our skill, stamina and luck and things, but it doesn't. Luckily I remember from previous books how to do that. This is another Swords and Sorcery game book, so it's very similar to Warlock of Firetop Mountain, Portal of Evil, those sort of books. It's in the same universe. It isn't one of the futuristic ones. The only futuristic one I like is House of Hell, which I've done. There are other futuristic ones as well, but I don't really like them. One of them I remember is called Freeway Fighter, I think. That involves a car, driving a futuristic car around a futuristic dystopia or something, and it's not very good. Anyway, alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to roll our skill, stamina and luck scores. I have the dice program at the ready. This is new screen recording software on my new computer. I've chosen the option to record the mouse cursor, but for some reason it records the mouse cursor as black. That might be because when you're playing the video you might confuse that mouse cursor on the video for the real one, so they made it black to distinguish. I think that's the only reason I can think of. So the mouse cursor on the video will be black, but it's actually a normal mouse cursor and white that I'm looking at now. This is the old dice program. I managed to find it again. It's pretty old. For some reason, after I roll a dice, there's a very slight buzzing noise. I don't know what causes it. And then if I press up or down, it seems to get rid of it. I don't know why. I have the old adventure sheet here. I called it New Text Document. Here's skill, stamina, luck. You start off with 10 provisions. And I'm going to take the potion of strength with me, so that's why I've chosen that. So all we have to do is choose, roll the dice for our skill, stamina and luck. Here we go. Okay, so we roll 1 die and then add 6 to the result, and that gives us our initial skill score. Let's do that now. Okay, so we get a 4, and that's quite good. It's also caused that annoying buzzing noise. I don't know if you can hear that, but I'll just press the arrow to get rid of it. There we go. Right, so that gives us an initial skill score of 10. So let's put that down. There we go, lovely jubbly. And then we roll 2 dice, and then add 12 to the result, and that gives us our initial stamina score. Let's do that now. Okay, and we get an 8. That's not bad. So we add 12 to the result, and it gives us an initial stamina score of 20. Let's put that in. That's not bad at all. Okay, now we roll 1 die for luck. And then we add 6 to the result, and that gives us our initial luck score. Let's do it now, and we get a 4. That's not bad at all. Okay, so we get initial luck of 10. That's quite good. Okay, let's read on. The mechanics of battles are exactly the same. When we're in a battle, we roll both dice, once for the creature, add its skill to the result, and that gives us the attack strength of the creature. Then we do the same for ourselves, and then whoever has the highest wins the attack round, and then the loser takes off 2 points of stamina. And when the stamina goes to naught, either you or the creature is dead. If the attack strengths are equal, then nothing happens, and you just carry on. You can use luck in battles, but I never liked it because it's a waste of luck. Every time you use luck, you have to take off 1 luck point, so it gets harder and harder to be successful with luck. But yeah, you can do that. If you win with luck, you just have to roll both dice. If the dice score is equal to or less than your luck score, then you're lucky. If it's greater than your luck score, then you're unlucky. So if you do that in battle, and then you're lucky, you take off 3 points, or rather you take off 4 points of damage. If you're unlucky, you only take off you only do 1 point of damage. If you use luck to defend yourself when you've lost, if you successfully use luck, you take off you can take off only 1 point of damage. If you're unlucky, it does an extra point of damage. So it's worse for the creature than it is for you, really, because if you're unlucky, you only take off 1 extra stamina point. But if you're lucky in fighting, after you win an attack round, you get to take off another 2 stamina points right here. Yeah, that's where it says. Fighting more than one creature, yeah, the page will tell us how to deal with that. Either as one monster, or you fight each one in turn. Escaping, I never do that, but if you do choose to escape, and it's an option, it has to be an option, you have to take off 2 stamina points. So that's that. Yeah, as I said, we start off with 10 provisions, so I've written that down. Equipment, I'm taking a potion of strength. It can be used any time to restore your stamina up to its initial value, but it can't be used in battle. Potion of fortune, not taking that, but that also restores luck and adds 1 to initial luck. Skill restores. The potion of skill restores skill points. I'll just read the hints on play. There is one true way through to the Lizard King, and it will take you several attempts to find it. Make notes and draw a map as you explore. This map will be invaluable in future adventures and enable you to progress rapidly through to unexplored sections. Not all areas contain treasure. Some merely contain traps and creatures which you will no doubt fall foul of. You may make wrong turnings during your quest, and while you may indeed progress through to your ultimate destination, it is by no means certain that you will find what you are searching for. It will be realized that entries make no sense if read in numerical order. It is essential that you read only the entries you are instructed to read. Reading other entries will only cause confusion and may lessen the excitement during play. The one true way involves a minimum of risk, and any player, no matter how weak on initial dice rolls, should be able to get through fairly easily. May the luck of the gods go with you on the adventure ahead. Okay, there's an adventure sheet. Someone's already written in it because this is a scan of someone's book. So yeah. Okay, let's read the background. Oyster Bay is a quiet fishing village some 60 miles down the coast from the notorious port Blacksand. Because it is at the end of a long peninsula, reached only by a steep and winding path, the fishermen and their wives are left to lead a simple but content life, away from the monsters and sorcery of the hinterland. Journeying south from Fang, you decide that you could do with a few days' rest, and knowing of no more peaceful place in Oyster Bay, you urge your horse towards the coast. Besides, an old adventuring friend of yours called Mungo lives there now, and it has been years since you last saw him. 2 days later, you arrive at the edge of the cliffs overlooking Oyster Bay. It is a beautiful sunny morning, and everything looks tranquil below. Nothing seems to have changed. The cluster of stone cottages nestles between the foot of the cliffs and the jetty, where a dozen fishing boats lie at anchor. You jump off your horse and walk it down the winding path to the village. The first people you see are a group of crying women. As you approach them, several men step out of a cottage and run towards you. One of the four is your old friend Mungo. His weather-beaten face is full of anger. He looks surprised to see you, but wastes no time with words of welcome. He recounts the sad events that have befallen the village. Having no gold or material wealth, the people of Oyster Bay thought themselves safe from raiders attacking their village. But several weeks ago, while most of the men were out at sea, the lizard men of Fire Island landed their boats in Oyster Bay and kidnapped several young men. Mungo believes that they are now enslaved on Fire Island and working in chain gangs in the gold mines. Since the kidnapping, 2 men were left to guard the village while the rest went out to fish. Despite this, the lizard men attacked again this very morning, overpowering the guards and taking away more young men. Mungo tells you he is about to set sail for Fire Island alone because the other fishermen are too scared to set foot on the island. He stares at you in silence until you smile and say that you will aid him in his quest. He slaps you on the back and shakes your hand in gratitude. For the moment, the poor fishing folk forget their grief and crowd round you, eager to thank you. Mungo then invites you to dine with him and rest a while, as the voyage to Fire Island will take several hours. Over a delicious feast of boiled lobster and salad, you discuss your plans. Mungo tells you that he does not think that humans live on Fire Island any longer, but his knowledge is fairly limited. These are just rumours that pass between fishermen from other coastal villages. However, it is known that Fire Island used to be a prison colony guarded by a tribe of paid lizard men. This was a rather futile attempt by Prince Olaf to rid his land of undesirable characters. The good prince soon learned that it would have been simpler to put his lawful citizens on Fire Island and leave the evildoers on the mainland. There were just too many of them. He gave up his attempt and abandoned the prison colony. When the lizard men received no pay, they took their vengeance out on the prisoners, and the island became a place of terror ruled by a lizard man prison guard who proclaimed himself king. The prisoners were forced to dig mines in the hope of finding gold for the lizard king. They were underfed and ill-treated, and many died. That is presumably why the Lizard King is sending out his men to find new slaves. It is known that in order to assert his authority, the Lizard King began practicing voodoo and black magic. He also started genetic experiments in an attempt to breed an invincible race of lizard men. Most of the experiments went wrong. Grotesque mutants were created, and some of the harmful potions found their way into the water drains with terrible consequences. The local flora and fauna were affected, with the result that man-eating plants developed and giant beasts evolved. A few of the prisoners managed to escape the island on rafts and were picked up by fishermen. But what has happened in the last few years, nobody knows. Fire Island had almost been forgotten until the recent raids. A success in your quest to assassinate the Lizard King and rescue the kidnapped victims is doubtful, but you must try. You stand up and walk down to the jetty with Mungo stepping aboard his small fishing boat. In the sight of cheering villagers, you untie the boat and push out to sea, wondering if you will ever return. Now turn over. Okay, here's the first paragraph, so let's have a read of this. Mungo's years with the fishermen of Oyster Bay have made him a skillful boatman. He swiftly hoists the sail of the small boat and sets a course due west across the silvery blue sea. The land soon recedes into the distance and you sit back on the deck, relaxing in the afternoon sunshine. From the stern you hear merry whistling, the creak of the rudder, and Mungo occasionally calling out to a seabird passing overhead. You think about the good times you used to have with Mungo, his constant cheerful nature and willingness to help people in need. You find it difficult to believe that so much evil exists in the land when there live the likes of Mungo. As the hours drift by, you talk and laugh, trying to ignore the dangers ahead. Mungo has always wanted to tell a tale, and he is now telling you about his father and how he used to work in a travelling circus. He was a big man, big as a mountain, laughs Mungo, and he would do just about anything for a paying crowd. Wrestle trolls, have elephants stand on him, and even let a killer bee sting him. He was a tough old customer, but he finally met his match in the north. The circus was in Fang as one of the attractions during the festivities surrounding the Trial of Champions, and my father decided on a whim to enter. He walked into Death Trap Dungeon, and alas, was never seen again. Yeah, good old Death Trap Dungeon will be doing that book eventually. He was really too old for such an ordeal, although there was no telling him that, but at least he tried. Just as Mungo is about to tell you his next tale, he jumps up and shouts, "Land ahoy!" at the top of his voice, as though he were yelling the news to the crew of a galleon. You look to where he is pointing and see Fire Island in the distance. The island sits on the sea like a green cushion, with a jagged mountain protruding from it. Smoke gently curls up from its top, a volcano's fuming anger waiting to explode. Mungo steers the boat towards a small inlet at the eastern tip of the island, hoping that it will remain concealed between the high rocks. You both put on your backpacks and clamber out of the boat to begin your quest to find the Lizard King. If you wish to scramble round the rocks to the beach in the cove to your left, turn to 24. If you wish to clamber over the rocks on the other side of the inlet to the beach in the cove to your right, turn to 33. We are going to go left, so let's go to 24. It does not take you long to reach the beach, which is small and covered with golden sand. A few rocks jut into the sea, and at the far end of the beach you see a tiny hut made of white stone. The roof has collapsed and the hut looks deserted. There are some long tracks in the sand crisscrossing the beach. If you wish to walk across the beach to the hut, turn to 211. If you'd rather climb back to the inlet and over to the beach in the other cove, turn to 33. We're going to go to the hut, 211. Okie dokie, here we go. You are about halfway across the beach when suddenly a large mound of sand by the sea's edge starts to rise into the air. Then you see 6 large spiny legs and a pair of pincers, and as the sand slides off its huge shell, your eyes widen at the daunting sight of the giant crab before you. It scuttles across the sand, picking up Mungo with one of its pincers. Mungo cries out in pain, unable to free himself from the vice-like grip. If you wish to help Mungo, turn to 182. If you'd rather run to the stone hut, turn to 307. We're going to help Mungo, of course, since he's an old friend, so 182. Here we go. You run at the giant crab with your sword drawn. It drops Mungo into the sand in order to attack you with both pincers. Okay, so giant crab, skill 10, stamina 11. Let's do this now. Okay, here's one I prepared earlier for this outcome because I knew what would happen. So here's giant crab. Yes, we're also going to be fighting some headhunters soon. I shouldn't have shown you that, but never mind. Okay, so giant crab, skill 10, stamina 11. Okay, so he goes first. So let's do this. Right, so 2 dice, roll. Okay, he gets a 5. That's 15 for him. I have the same skill, so it just matters on the dice roll really. Whoever wins this. So it's 15 to 18. 15 to 18. So I win that. That goes down to 9. Yeah, for some reason, as I said, when I press the dice button, it seems to make a buzzing noise. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's quite irritating. Alright, so here we go again. Okay, he goes first. He gets 6, that's 16. I get 6, that's 16. So 16 to 16, that's equal, so nothing happens. And again, he gets 19. I get 15, so 19 to 15, he wins. Brilliant. 19 to 15. So I have to take away 2 points of my stamina. There we go, lovely. Okay, he gets 14, I get 15, so 14 to 15, I just win that. So he goes down to 7, that's good. Right, okay, he gets 19, I get 19, so equal again. So nothing happens. Next attack round. He gets 16, I get 16, okay, nothing happens again. This is we're starting to get a pattern here, aren't we? Okay, he gets 21, I get 14. So 21 to 14, so he wins that one quite comfortably. Quite a nasty first creature to fight this, I must say. Okay, next one. He gets 14, I get 18. So 14 to 18, I win that one quite comfortably, and he goes down to 5. Okay, he gets 19, I get 16, so 19 to 16. So I go down to 14. Okay, he gets 14, I get 22. So 14 to 22, I easily win that. And then he goes down to 3, so just 2 more. Then he's finished. Okay, he gets 17, I get 19. So I win that one as well. 17 to 19. And then he goes down to 1, so in theory, the last attack round. He gets 14, I get 12. Nope. 14 to 12, he wins that one, annoyingly. So I'll go down to 12 on my stamina. Okay, next one. He gets 21, I get 17, so he wins again. 21 to 17. So he wins that, so I'm down to 10 now. Blimey. It's a little bit unlucky there. Okay, he gets 18, I get 20, so he's finally finished. 18 to 20. And then, so that puts him down to 0. He had a bit of, he found his second win there, didn't he? He managed to get 4 points of health off me on his last bit of health. Okay, so that's the end of Mr. Giant Crab. Let's continue, get rid of the buzzing, there we go. Let's continue with the game. If you win, turn to 366. We did, so 366, here we go. Kneeling down beside the crushed body of Mungo, you gently lift his head in your arms. His eyes open a little, and he manages half a smile despite his agony. In a whisper he says, "Well, old friend, it's the end of the road for me. A lot of use I've been. Make sure you get the Lizard King for me, won't you?" Then his eyes close and he slumps down dead. You bury him on the beach near the cliff, marking the grave with his sword skewered into the sand. More determined than ever, you set off on your quest and walk to the stone hut. 198. Here we go. The abandoned hut is littered with broken furniture, smashed pottery, and a few bits of torn clothing. You kick away a dirty rug and see the handle of a trapdoor in the floorboards. If you wish to lift the trapdoor, turn to 267. If you'd rather leave the hut, turn to 152. 267 because you want to lift the trapdoor. You pull on the handle and lift up the trapdoor. In a small compartment you see a wooden box which you lift out and place on the floor. The lid is covered with candle wax. If you wish to open the box, turn to 354. If you'd rather leave the hut, turn to 152. Okay, we're going to open the box, 354. There's something good inside. The lid lifts up easily, and inside you find a corked earthenware jug and a note which reads, "Many years ago, I came to Fire Island for peace and solitude, but since the lizard men have dwelt here, such an existence is no longer possible. I have now returned to the mainland. Many of the plants and bushes here are poisonous. A scratch can kill you. Drink my potion from this jug and you will come to no harm. I wish you well for whatever reason you are here. Farewell, Baskin." If you wish to drink the liquid in the jug, turn to 238. If you would rather leave the hut immediately, turn to 152. Okay, we're going to drink the liquid, 238. The liquid tastes of aniseed and is milky in colour. You gulp it down but feel no effects and can only presume that it will protect you on the journey ahead. You put down the jug and leave the hut, turn to 152. Okay, let's just put down that we drank the liquid. Drank milky aniseed liquid. Pardon me. Okay, so we're turning to 152. Behind the hut you see a narrow goat track leading up the side of the cliff. You wend your way up it and are quite exhausted by the time you reach the top. You take a swig of water from your flask and realise that water shortage could be a problem for you on this island. Looking west you see the daunting sight of the sleeping volcano standing above the trees, but no sign of life, although you can certainly hear it. A cacophony of bird and insect noise. With the light quickly fading, you decide to camp for the night behind some rocks. You do not sleep very well and are awake at first light, eager to set off. You decide to head directly west into the trees. Turn to 391. Okay, we're also going to use some provisions up because I've lost a bit of health, so let's put that down to 9 and put my health up to 14. Okay, we're going to 391. Just before we do that, I'm just going to check and see that's what provisions give us. Yeah, restores 4 stamina points. Yep, good. Okay, 391, here we go. Just wanted to double check that. Yeah. because it might be different from the other game books. The undergrowth between the trees is dense. Plants with long or broad leaves, some with spiny tips, vines, creepers, fungi, roots and flowers of all sizes, shapes and colours, fighting for light and space in the humid jungle thicket. You have to use your sword to cut your way through it, and it is a long and slow business. If you wish to sit down and rest at the base of a great tree, turn to 53. If you'd rather continue hacking your way west, turn to 81. Don't sit down at the tree, it's bad if I remember. So turn to 81 and hack your way through. As you push your way slowly through the undergrowth, the hairs on the back of your neck start to prickle. And you feel that you are being watched. You stand back, sword ready, watching the leaves for any sign of movement. Then 3 dark-skinned men step into view, each wearing only a crude loincloth. They are armed with stone clubs and long spears. But you are more alarmed to see that each wears a belt of shrunken human heads. The headhunters start to argue about who should kill you and earn the right to wear your head on his belt. Finally, one steps forward. Fight them one at a time. Okay, so here's one I prepared earlier. The first one is 6-6. Let's do that now. So first headhunter. Yeah, defeated the giant crab, didn't I? So first headhunter, 6 and 6. Let's do this, right. He gets 8, that's 14 for him. I get 3, that's 13 for me. Unbelievable, he actually did that. 14 to 13, so he wins an attack round, can you believe? He's going to have my head on his belt in no time. Right, okay, let's do the next one. He gets a 7, that's 13. I get 3, that's 13 again, so 13 to 13, just escaped that one there. So, yep, no change. Okay, he gets a 5, that's 11. I get 6, that's 16. So 16, so 11 to 16. He goes down to 4. Next. Okay, he gets 10, that's 16. I get 5, that's 15. So 16 to 15, he just scrapes a victory again. So I'm down to 10 again. That's the end of my provisions. Okay. Okay, he gets a 5, that's 11. I get 9, that's 19. So 11 to 19. So he's down to 2. Just one more hit and he's dead. He gets an 8, that's 14. I get 7, that's 17. So 14 to 17, I win. Right. So he's dead. Right, next headhunter. This one is skill 7, stamina 6. So 7-6 for this one. 7 and 6. So slightly harder. Let's do this. Okay, he gets an 8, that's 15. I get 10, that's 20. So 15 to 20. And he goes down to 4. Okay, next. He gets an 8, that's 15. I get 5, that's 15. So 15 to 15, that's a draw. So no change, thank God. Right. He gets a 7, that's 14. I get 10, that's 20. So 14 to 20, I win. Whoops. So he's down to 2. One more hit and he's finished. Easier than the other one, actually. He gets an 8, that's 15. I get a 10, that's 20. So 15 to 20, I win. So that's the end of second headhunter. So goodbye. Whoops, don't need that, do I? Okay, third headhunter is skill 6, stamina 7. So 6-7. Let's get on with this. Slightly more stamina, so a bit harder than the first one. Let's go. Okay, he gets 9, that's 15. I get 5, that's 15, so no change. Next. He gets 4, that's 11. I get 7, that's 17, so 11 to 17. And he goes down to 5. I could use luck here to hurry it up, but I'm not going to waste the luck, really. Okay, he gets a 7, that's 13. And I get 8, that's 18. So 13 to 18. So I win again. Good. He's down to 3, just 2 more hits and he's mine, even though I only have 10 stamina left again. Okay, he gets a 2, that's 8. I get 2, that's 12. So I was guaranteed to win that, really. So 8 to 12. Next, he gets 9, that's 15. I get 4, that's 14. So 15 to 14, he wins. So I'm down. Whoops, did that the wrong thing. 14. So I'm down to 8 now for stamina. Annoyingly. Right, next. He gets 9, that's 15. I get 4, that's 14 again. So I'll just do this now. So I'm down to 6 now. This is a bit dodgy. So 15 to 14 again. So exactly the same as the last one. Next. Okay, he gets a 10, that's 16. I get 3, that's 13. So 16 to 13. This is a bit worrying. Down to 4. Not allowed to use provisions or potion of strength in battle, remember. Okay, he gets an 8, that's 14. I get 7, that's 17, thank God. So 14 to 17. This is a bit dodgy. Being really unlucky with the dice rolls here. Okay, so one more hit. He gets a 9, that's 15. I get a 5, that's 15. Unbelievable. Smiling here. Okay, 15. Okay, last one hopefully. Here we go. He gets a 9, that's 15. I get a 4. Unbelievable. 15 to 14. He wins another attack round. Okay, this is make or break here. I'm on my last bit of health. I suppose I'm not. If I do lose the attack round, I'll have to use luck to stop myself from dying. Okay, last one. Here we go. He gets a 9. That's 15 again, and I get 11. Oh, thank God. So 15 to 21. I just win. That's too close for comfort. Too close for comfort. Okay. I bet you're on the edge of your seat watching this. You know. Anyway, he's dead. Unbelievable. He had quite a bit of fight left in him on his last bit of health. He took away, blimey, 8 health points or something. Yeah, lost that one. I lost that one. Yeah, I lost, blimey. Anyway, that's the end of the battle. I think it's about time I use my potion of strength, really, but I won't waste it. I'll use some provisions. Anyway, that's that. So if you win, turn to 177. I just won. Blimey. Right. The Headhunters have no items of equipment on them, but have a hide bag containing bananas and coconuts. You save your own provisions and eat the Headhunter's food. Add 1 stamina point. One stamina point. So we're up to 3 now. Brilliant. You wonder if their village is nearby and decide to climb a tree to get a better view. From the top you see smoke rising not far away in the southwest, perhaps from a village. Directly west you see the trees gradually thin out, and away in the far northwest you see the daunting shape of the volcano. If I'd lost that, I'd have to start the whole game again. Anyway, you climb down from the tree and plan which way to head. If you wish to keep going west, turn to 229. If you wish to go northwest in order to circumvent the smoke, turn to 12. Just get rid of that buzzing. Okay, so we'll decide which way we're going in the next video. Thank you very much for watching part 1 of Let's Play Island of the Lizard King by Ian Livingstone. In the next video we'll be deciding if we're going west or northwest. So thank you for watching and goodbye.